So Persona 3 is a thing. A friend of mine recommended I play this game, telling me that it is a favourite video game series. She used some choice words compelling me to play this game ASAP. At the time, I was quite hesitant to play it because Persona 3 is a JRPG, short for Japanese role-playing game, and I am typically not a fan of the genre. Nevertheless, I gave it a shot, and to my surprise, I really enjoyed this game. Surprisingly, I was probably the only person in my group of friends that knew of this game, with the exception of the person who recommended it to me. So let's start at the beginning. Persona 3 is a turn-based / life simulator JRPG on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 Network and the PSP. I played Persona 3 on the PlayStation 3, which I would recommend over the PlayStation 2 and PSP, mainly because of the upgrade visuals and the cheap price on the PlayStation Network. Made by Atlus, a Japanese video game company responsible for amazing games like Catherine and any other game with the Shin Megami Tensei title in it. Atlus has also made some more forgettable games like Game of Thrones and Friday the 13th for Nintendo Entertainment System. You play as a teenager returning to Tatsumi Port Island after being away for 10 years due to a terrible accident in which both the main character's parents have died. You have been transferred to the Awatoya dormitory, which you will come to know as your home throughout the game. You meet up with a mysterious boy upon your arrival who tells you to sign your name in a contract in which he says,
"Don't worry. All it says is that you'll accept full responsibility for your actions. You know, the usual stuff."
He promptly takes back the book and then disappears. You are first introduced to a couple of new characters named Yukari Takiba and Mitsuri Kirijo, who get you settled into your dorm. You are then taken by Yukari to Gekokan High School, and she asks you politely not to tell anyone about the fact that she was strapped with a gun that they call an evoker the night before. You make a new friend in your class named Junpei Iori, a teenager who believes he can charm the paint off the walls and is generally a nice dude, even if he does seem to get himself into trouble by talking big game.
I can't believe how easy it was to sneak up on you. Are the others here just as oblivious?
After some time, you meet the director of the high school, Shuji Ikutsuki, who lets you know about the other students living in the dorm and wishes you all the best at your school. At this time, he seems a bit shady, but all is explained in the near future. We are then shown an area in which a mosquito ripoff named Igor tells us about a fancy elevator called the Velvet Room, where he is accompanied by Elizabeth, a sort of creepy, almost cyborg-like person who handles requests and side objectives for you. Igor gets you to sign another contract in which he tells you,
"Those who have signed the contract can enter this place. Henceforth, you shall be welcome here in the Velvet Room."
Some more talking aside, and we are now introduced to the big baddie of the game, the Dark Hour. The Dark Hour occurs every night at 12 AM, in which it lasts for 1 hour, and everyone except Persona users sleep in coffins. I see what you did there, Atlus. In this time, the Persona user can travel to a place called the Tartarus, which is located at the main character's school. During this Dark Hour event, the dorm is attacked by a powerful monster in which the characters refer to them as shadows. Things who are born from humans and carry human emotions which are mainly negative. Some are more powerful than most, and the powerful shadows attract lesser shadows in result. This powerful shadow attacks Yukari and the main character, in which results both of them being trapped on the rooftop of the dorm by the shadow. The shadow stops Yukari from summoning her persona with the flick of its wrists, and the main character decides that he should pick up her gun and try it instead. The main character summons his own persona and is able to defeat the shadow with relative ease. And that's the setup for the game. You discover you are also a Persona user, and that pretty much everyone in your dorm is a Persona user too. You later discover that you are more special than just a Persona user, Everyone has a persona, but you, the main character, are able to use multiple personas. In fact, you're able to use any one of the 179 personas available to you in this game, but only a certain amount at a time. The more you level up, the more you're able to hold at once. The game's main story focuses around the idea of death and dark themes, whether it is using a weapon called an invoker, in which you pull a special gun to your head and pull the trigger, much like a suicide, to summon your personas, or the idea that people sleep in coffins during the dark hour to play dead so you're not attacked by the shadows. In the game, you can choose to be a happy, uplifting character to those around you and even take characters on dates to charm them. But in the animated movie series Persona 3 the movie, the main character's name is Makoto Yuki. And he seems incredibly apathetic with an easily comparable personality to the one of Shinji Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion. The game is a well-designed JRPG in which the enemies react to certain elemental damage to be defeated easily, and grinding levels in the Tartarus is required so you do not fall behind when the time comes to fight that boss battle every full moon. It is also a great life simulator in which you must manage friendships and social links to create more powerful personas to fight the shadows. You will need to balance time in the Tartarus with raising your academics, charm, and courage to be able to access more social links and get special equipment. For example, to get Yukari's social link, you must have maxed your charm levels before a certain date to gain the social link of the lovers. Some of this stuff is not explained to you, so some trial and error is required. This game requires a lot of management between organizing the right party to take out a powerful shadow, all the way to making sure you stay on top of your studies so you do not fall behind at school. Most issues in the game are centered around sensitive issues like death, suicide, and even one character in which she is finding it hard to understand why her parents are getting divorced. The bosses are creative and also challenging when it comes to fighting them on a full moon, or even when you reach a specific level in the Tartarus. Some may even make you want to resort to a previous save to try and organize your team better if you're unable to defeat them. This game is filled to the brim with great content, and depending on your playstyle, has around 50 to 100 hours of content, as well as unforgettable story and memorable characters that will satisfy you for multiple playthroughs. This game even has an incredible soundtrack which will have your toes tapping and fingers snapping in no time, and I would highly recommend checking out the Persona 3 soundtrack when you get a chance. Some negative things I would have to say about this game is some parts of the story. Don't get me wrong, it has a great story, but some parts could have been refined. For example, the characters in this game keep telling you that your character has the potential.
Potential.
And that is something incredibly rare and special. Yet once you discover that you are a Persona user, everyone in the kitchen sink are now Persona users. The first time you meet Junpei, he's normal. The next day, he's a Persona user. You save a girl who's trapped in the Tartarus. Bam, she is now a Persona user. You meet a dog outside of your dorm, and lo and behold, the dog is a Persona user. They treat you like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Jingle All the Way.
Well, what do you expect? You're my #1 customer. But don't you forget, you're my #1 customer. You're my #1 customer.
Also, with your party of 4, when you fight in the Tartarus, you cannot control your party members in any way other than a generalized order that you can give them. You can tell a certain member to heal, support, knock down, or even a full assault, but you cannot tell them what ability to use. You can tell them to focus on a certain enemy, but that is about it. When you have a battle in the Tartarus, if you use an enemy's weakness against them, for example, if an enemy is weak against electricity and you use electricity attack, it will knock them down. Knocking all the enemies down will open up an option to do an all-out attack, in which your team goes in for a violent gangbang and does an incredible amount of damage. But if you attack an enemy when they're already down, the enemy will get back up and will no longer be in that knockdown state. Meaning someone has just ruined your chance for an all-out attack, which really pisses me off. On a funnier note, whenever a teammate cannot defeat an enemy in one move, For some reason, they start crying out for help.
Please help me! Please help me! Please help me!
Now, I am not a fan of giving a rating out of 10 or 100 or anything like that because I feel will not get my point across correctly. So I either give my reviews a yes, play it, or no, stay away, with pros and cons for people who are sitting on the fence after this review. So Persona 3 gets my verdict of go play it. Like, do it. Like, you should have started yesterday. It's fucking good.
So dance while I put you in